And so then did that turn into Golden Vision Films? How did you go from being PAs serving the other crew members on a small film set to this new company?
Well, a couple of ways. The first, of course, God's providence, and He pushed us there. But it's through a series of doors that opened up. We went from there, again, decided that we wanted to do film, moved to Compass Film Academy, went hardcore into film education, and then decided that we wanted to do something a little bigger. We decided that we had the skills and the knowledge and the resources to go bigger. We connected with some other people close to by where we were going to school, by Compass. Connected with them. They said, hey, you want to join our company? We said, sure. They were working on a short half-hour piece at the time. We helped them through post-production on that one and distribution. Ended up doing a big premiere, selling the DVD, making all of our money back, which was a huge score for them at the time. And the group, Golden Vision Films, was already started, and then we joined. We joined at that point after graduating from school. So there was the 4 original staff members. 2 of us came on. Now we've got 6, and we all sat down in a meeting and said what we want to do next. And all sort of came to the conclusion that we wanted to try and do a feature.
And tell me a little bit about this feature film that we've referenced, but we haven't really spoken much about it.
Well, as the writer, I'll talk a little bit about the story, and then I'll let Andrew talk about where we're at on the production side, because he's the executive producer. When we sat down and decided we were going to make a feature film, I think another thing to point out about Golden Vision Films, it was started by 2 kids, and they were literally kids, ages like 14 when they started this company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they, just making goofy little shorts, running around with the camera, doing little stuff. They decided to make a little bit bigger project, which they made, and I haven't even seen it. They won't show it to me. And then 2 years ago, they decided to do a 45-minute short, which they put together on their own. Through that process, they got 2 other members, so then it was the 4 of them, and they put on the premiere, and they had several hundred people come to see it. Then they, last summer, they shot a film called Rusty Reynolds, which is on the website as well, which we only helped them marginally because we were so heavy in school. We could, we helped them get some equipment, and we helped them with other things, but for the most part, they did that on their own, and they didn't ask us to join until after we got back from Hero, when we officially became members of Golden Vision Films. So they were already very well established and had a very strong fan base over in the Kalamazoo area of Michigan. And we decided that we were basically a perfect match for each other because they had much of the fan base, much of the audience built in, hundreds up to thousands of people that are interested tentatively in the projects that they do. And we had a lot of film head knowledge, but not a lot of the practical on the ground, connections and relationships. So, we sat down and we thought, well, what are we going to do now? Now we've got 6 people, and we said, well, it would be really interesting to make a feature with 2 of our members who are now 16. They'll be graduating from high school next year. We thought it would be great for them to have a feature under their belt before even graduating from high school that they worked as producers and then crew positions on. And so we sat down and said, okay, we're going to make a feature. What are we going to make it on? And our director is currently an employee at Bethany Adoption Services in Kalamazoo. So she's been, over the course of the last year or so, through her internship, which has then turned into a job, and reading cases and studies and stories about these kids through adoption. And she's like, I just feel that God's put it on my heart to tell a story about adoption, just kind of open people's eyes a little bit more as to what goes on and how hard it can be on one sense, but how rewarding it can be on the other. So I said, well, that's great. I felt at the time qualified to work as writer, just with the writing experience, but I didn't have a story idea that I really felt compelled to tell. So between her story idea and my writing, we kind of collaborated, her working as director, myself working as writer, to come up with this script